Hi, I'm Amira Smith, the Director of Marketing and Multicultural Affairs for the Greater Philadelphia Film Office. And on November 10th, we were proud to present our Filmmakers at the Prince event, An Evening with Jamal Hill. It was an incredible night as Jamal generously shared his journey as a filmmaker, from his humble beginnings with a budget of $10,000 to make Money, Power, and Respect, to growing to a $2 million budget to make Brotherly Love. Well, here it is, uncut, for you to see. November 10th, Filmmakers at the Prince, An Evening with Jamal Hill. For your viewing pleasure, we hope that it inspires you as much as it did us.
A big, huge excitement, round of applause, Jamal Hill. I'm good. I'm having. You got the see. There's a reason why you got that chair.
I told you. Let me take that one.
Can people hear Jamal okay? Do you need the mic closer?
How about now? Check 1, check 2.
Okay, so maybe. And you guys are being filmed, so the rest of the world will have access to this information. Okay.
It's kind of different from our first interview at my house, right?
You've come a long way, Jamal. Yeah, but I wasn't the first person who discovered Jamal Hill. I'm sure. How many people, just by show of hands, Money, Power, and Respect? Okay. After Autumn? Streets with Meek Mill? Okay. Brotherly Love? See how it grows? Do I need to read his bio? Jamal Hill, born in New York, but raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jamal Hill was fascinated with all of the arts, and particularly movies and music. As a result, he studied screenwriting and directing. After years of honing his craft, Hill and his mother, what's your mom's name?
Malika Hill.
Malika Hill in the corner. It's a family affair. Ambitiously produced a small $10,000 independent film entitled Money, Power, Respect from a 75-page script he wrote. He shot it in 11 days with 3 of his film colleagues and local Philadelphia theater actors. The film won Philly Underground Film Fest, where it was ultimately distributed by Jeff Clanagan's Code Black Entertainment. Big up for Jeff Clanagan. Soon after its release, a Will Smith and Overbrook Entertainment associate, Charlie Mack Alston, reached out to Hill about his talent. Subsequently, Hill began working on films such as I Am Legend, Hancock, Iron Man, and directed Lady Gaga's The Fame short concert movie. In 2010, Hill returned to Philadelphia to direct the music-based feature film Streets, starring hip-hop star Meek Mill, and also produced by Alston and released nationally by the BET Network in 2012. As a result, he landed a deal with Queen Latifah's Flavor Unit Entertainment to direct a slate of films, Brotherly Love, his first theatrically released film, and the Los Angeles crime drama Deuces, which is coming soon. Hill currently resides in the Hollywood area, writing, directing, and producing original film and television content. All right, now you were born in New York, but we claim you.
Yeah, I claim you all too.
You're born in Schenectady?
Yeah, Schenectady is a small town outside of the capital of Albany. And yes, I was born there. Can you all hear me? Or how about now? Better?
Yeah, I think
all right, great.
Yeah. So Schenectady, how did you get into film?
Well, it wasn't really film first. I think music is my DNA. Yeah. Every film that I shoot is musically based. So it comes from music first. So my mother's a singer, and being a stage mom and all that jazz, I just grew up in the entertainment business. And then we moved to Philadelphia, and yeah, Philly was so much different from New York in terms of being a real city. Because New York City and Schenectady are not the same. Like Schenectady's a small town, but Philly's one of the top 5. So when you come here in the 80s, during the whole hip hop generation, it molded me. Like it really grabbed me, and it just took me by the throat and just strangled me. So it started off with hip hop, and then that morphed into movies later down the line.
Okay. And you moved to Philly when you were 9?
Something like that, yeah, 9 or 10, yeah.
I know these things.
Yeah, yeah.
I know these things.
I don't know how you know all this stuff about me, Mike.
I just know these things. So film came later.
Yeah, film came later.
What was your first entree? When did you know that you wanted to write and direct films?
Well, what happened was I doubted myself for a while, and I took the B plan, which was being a barber. It was something that I picked up as a teenager. I was really good at it, and I started excelling in cutting hair. So I opened up a barber shop when I was 21, and in the back of my mind, it was like, I'm not doing what I really want to do. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to the Oscars when Denzel Washington won for Training Day, and it inspired me. I was like, you know what? It's time. It's like, it's no time like the present. So I remember I walked into the living room and told my wife, I was like, I want to be an actor. She was like, what? And I was like, no, I think I should pursue entertainment. So it started that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your wife's here?
Yeah, right over there.
Okay. Is it Sarah?
Tashina. Say hey.
And big shout out to Sharon Pinkinson and Joan Bressler.
Hey, Sharon, how you doing? Good seeing you again.
Well, that strikes a chord. I mean, how many people have felt like that? Like, like I'm not doing what I'm destined here to do.
Yeah.
And amazing things happen when you listen to that call.
Yeah, no, it's like, what I noticed, that everyone is assigned. It's not something that the universe or God or whatever you pray to at night says, this is what you got to do. It's a feeling. Mm-hmm. And the more you fight the feeling, the more things won't really pan out the way you want them to, at least in my opinion, in my case. And it was like, why am I not happy? Why am I not, because you're not following that voice. And I just started following the voice no matter what happened. I'm just going to follow the voice,
Okay. So how long from Training Day, becoming an actor, to Philovision?
Okay.
Which is the name of your production company?
What happened was I started acting because Denzel, what happened was he inspired the acting bug at first. So I said, I got to take the first step. The first step for me was I went to community college for theater. I took a theater class, but at the same time, I took a creative writing class as an elective. And it's a funny story. So the professor asked us on the first day to write a 500-word essay about a certain word. So we took the project home and thought about it, and I wrote the word down and came up with something, and I turned it in the next day. So the following day, the professor came in and was like, so listen, there were some exceptional writings in the classroom, but one stood out more than the rest. So I was like, wow, somebody must have really did a good job. So he said, Jamal, can you come up and read your paper for us? And I'm like, me? So nothing from nothing. I got up and read the paper, and somebody was crying in the audience, well, the classroom rather, and it touched the classroom. Everybody, they stood up and gave me a round of applause. So the teacher kept me after class and said, listen, son, you really, I think you got something which you should pursue writing. Okay. And he kind of like honed, the talent inside me. So he assigned a book called Makes Me Want to Holler by Nathan McCall. Mm-hmm. So read the book, and it spoke to me. And I said, this is what I want to do. I'm going to switch gears from acting and pursue telling stories, writing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it happened from community college. And from there, I just kept running with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your first film?
The first, Brotherly Love, was actually the first thing I ever wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, the first thing I wrote. Because, it's funny because, growing up in my neighborhood, out of 100 kids, maybe 2 have fathers, maybe 2. Mm-hmm. So I took the theme of that and said, what kind of story can I tell about a family without a father? And I started there. And then it just kept going and going and going and going and going. It took me about maybe 4 years to get a solid script. So what happened was, before I finished it, I said, you know what? I'm never going to be able to finance this movie. So let me go back to the drawing board and write something that I probably can find the money for. Mm-hmm. So that's when Money, Power, Respect came about. And it was a quick study about 3 guys with 3 different distinct personalities, one being money, one being power, one being respect. And how would they interact with one another? So that was a simple storyline that I knew I could, at least from my limited experience, I could shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, when I first saw it kind of reminded me of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
You know, it's about a young, innocent kid who gets caught up in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of your films deal with similar themes. You know, is there, like, now that you have a growing body of work, is there something that unifies all the films?
Yeah, you know, Akiva Goldsman says, write what you know. And at the time, that's kind of just, that's what I knew good. Inner city activity. Being from Southwest area, that's just kind of like a lifestyle. It's like you either got a wicked jump shot or you're selling crack rock. So you know that, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna write that. I knew it pretty well. So those are, and I didn't consciously come up with those things. It's like, that's just what I knew.
Okay. Well, I you know, we're among friends. There's a movie before Money, Power, and Respect.
Which one? My movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean New Jack City?
Yeah.
That one, yeah. Well, that's not really a movie. It's so one of my good friends, Ace Capone, we grew up together.
Okay.
Ace is doing forever and a day in jail right now. So Ace, shout out to Ace right there, right? So Ace had a record company, independent record company, and
Takedown Records.
Yeah, he had Takedown Records, and they made all kinds of news, but nonetheless, he had the company. And me and Ace grew up. We always been friends. And at the same time, he was starting his music career, I was starting my film career. So out of a conversation that we had on our way to, I think, a Sixers game or something like that, he said, I want you to listen to my mixtape I'm about to drop. So I listened to the music. It was dope. So I said, well, why don't we make a short movie based on the 4 best songs on the album, and we'll do it like what is it with Jay-Z, the Streets is Watching. Yeah, concept, but based in Philadelphia. So, and the funny thing about that, we shot that in like 4 days, and we put a battle rap on the special features, and the battle rap took off, and it just started this whole battle rap phase with there were Freeway was on that, a lot of independent artists who are big now were on that, and it kind of like started a battle rap generation, and it took flight, and that's absolutely the first thing I've ever did.
Move, motherfucker.
Damn, Genuine, what the fuck you always fucking with me for? What's the problem?
What you doing out here?
You ain't heard my work for the mayor, man. I make sure these walls don't fall down.
Oh, you got jokes, huh?
Yeah.
I guess this is your pay, huh?
I guess so.
I'm gonna tell you like I tell the rest of your drug dealing friends. Look at me. If I catch you the fuck out here, y'all gonna break me the fuck out. All right. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. What you got to do with this?
Hustler, word, I put my trigger long. And if he moving, then I'm shooting any nigga drawn. I know y'all wondering when you put this little nigga on. I flash and snap, get the picture, we can get it on. I move like 8 y'all when I'm on the block. You tryna rob me, bang, another brother shot. And I don't care about a pump cop. Hit him with a pump shot. Throw him in the wheel, hit the trunk lock. In this new jack with the school strap. Niggas in the bathroom, taking their food packs. So many chicks on my dick, think I'm a movie star. 50, no, I'm in these $100,000 cars.
Then Money, Power, and Respect comes along. I mean, how many people are familiar with this one? All right, maybe.
Yeah, good
maybe
handful.
Maybe we should show the trailer. Is that cool?
Up to you.
All right, we'll step away and we'll share a little bit of that.
When you got money, man, you can do whatever you want to do. No limits. All you gotta do, man, is listen and do what you're told, and that's all, man.
Someone you love, everything is not the same. It seemed like yesterday, used to see you every day.
In this game, that's about the power.
I just wanted you to know you've been gone. I've been holding on.
You want to make yourself a magnet of attention, larger than everyone else, dog.
So, what comes to mind when you see all those footage? That's Jamal, by the way, in the movie.
Just how ambitious I was. Man, I need to get that back. I need to get that feeling back.
Okay. Well, so $10,000.
$10,000.
How many?
Started everything. It started everything. Yeah, that was it.
And
so
how
from
many
there,
days and all that good stuff?
I shot that movie in 11 days. Everybody I knew had to help, did help, and it worked. You know, it was one of those situations. I remember me and my son were talking about it the other day. He spent the weekend with me. He was one of the characters in the movie. I was playing the kid. And we had so much fun doing that movie. I remember him crying when his mom came to pick him up. He was like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. It was just it's definitely one of those moments in my life. I was like, I'm so glad I jumped off the cliff. Because that's what I did. I jumped off a cliff.
Right. Now, even from New Jack and Money, Power, Respect, you're starting to assemble a cast of characters, like people that are on your team to this day. I mean, like, how do you, like, I got 10 grand. How do I put a movie together? Do I go out and buy a camera? You find somebody that has a camera?
It's easier now than it was back then.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because technology and everything like that, you can shoot a movie on your phone, you can edit it on your phone, you can promote it on your phone. Didn't exist back then, so it's a little easier now.
So, I mean, like, who's your core team? I know Todd was in a lot of
Well, it's funny. Just recently, it's like everybody has blossomed in their own right. Like even Charlie. Charlie's so busy, we hardly see each other at all. He's doing the Empire with Yaz, and he's got the Brotherly Love group, and I'm right now. It's funny. I'm a solo artist right now, for real. When I went to L.A. and I'd met with Larenz, and we decided to do the project. At the time, the movie was called Catch-22. But being as though the Mike Nichols movie was Catch-22, it's an Oscar-winning movie. Right. You don't want to try to repeat that, so we changed the name to Deuces. And when I moved out there, it's like I met a whole like A-listers, man. So it's like now, it's just you get traded and you get. You're up for a ring next,
Okay, but some of the core people, like I recognize like Gabe, Todd.
They're all doing their own thing. That's just the honest as I can be. They're all, I've kind of like, it's kind of like disseminated, but we're all still friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't looking for anything.
We're all good friends.
I'm just saying you put together a team, you start a Philovision, you do Money, Power, and Respect. And
what happened, I think, once Charlie Mack got into the mix, it kind of changed because his ambition for me was LeBron, and he never wavered from that. He was like, I get your friends, and I get all that. I love it, but I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you to the championship. So that's kind of like what our goal has been, and it's like finite focus.
So that's a great story. I mean, he's told it on Reelblack TV, but meeting Charlie Mack.
Yeah, it's funny.
Major people have major events in their lives. This is certainly one.
That definitely was. So what happened was I met Charlie, but you got to remember, me and Charlie we're both from the Southwest area, so we've always seen each other in the peripheral. So, but to meet him, what happened was when Money, Power, Respect came out, it became, at least in Philly, in New York, like a classic. So Charlie loved it, and he was like, I gotta get with this guy. So what happened was, literally, I remember. I was at home one night, 3 o'clock in the morning on Craigslist, looking for a job, any job, I don't care what it was. So looking on Craigslist, fell asleep in the bed, my phone rang in the morning, and it's Charlie. Let me speak to Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill there. I want to talk to him real quick. What is he there? So I'm like, this is Jamal. And he was like, listen, do you have time to meet? Because I want to talk to you about your talents and everything like that. So I said, sure. Met him in the Checkers parking lot on Baltimore Avenue.
Okay. I'll put this right on TV.
That's the
truth. Worst Checkers in the city.
Yes.
They never have banana milkshakes.
No. And look,
they never. They mess the orders up all day long.
And Charlie can afford to take me to like at least Fridays, right? You would think. So we met at the Checkers parking lot.
Give you a Checker burger?
We met at the Checkers parking lot.
Okay.
So what I thought was probably going to be a 30-minute conversation ended up being a 2-hour conversation.
Okay.
So we talked, we hit it off, we had a lot of stuff in common. And he literally picked up the phone and called Will and was like, yeah, Mike, is Will there? And I'm like, no, he's not calling Will. He says, listen, Will, what you doing? Will was like, I'm in New York shooting a movie. He was like, I want you to meet somebody. And Will was like, okay. And so long story short, the next day, Charlie picked me up, drove me to New York on a set of I Am Legend, and met with Will. And me and Will happened to hit it off. And he was like, what are you doing tomorrow? You want to work? Yes, I want to work badly. So, and that's literally how it happened. Went back home, discussed things with my family, and for the next 2.5 years, I was Will's assistant. Period, point blank. Yeah.
So, now you made a film independently, guerrilla style, and got it out there.
Okay, that's another thing. They also said, everything you learned up to this point, forget about it. Because you're going to learn from the ground up. Like, okay, so if you don't know what a PA is, a production assistant, or is just that. My number one job on the movie was getting Will Smith a coffee with 2 sugars, no milk. And I remember that to this day. That's what he likes. Coffee, 2 sugars, no milk. But what happened at the same time, it was like I had carte blanche to the entire film set because, you know, as a PA, you work in every department. And then if you're a Will's guy, then you're allowed to just knock coffee off the table. And
now you have an amazing work ethic.
Yeah.
You don't want to disappoint Mr. Smith.
No, well, it's nothing compared to his. Like, he's a machine.
Yeah,
he's a machine. So, and it rubs off. It rubs off. So, first movie was I Am Legend. It was 7 months in New York City, and it was a paid film school experience. I got paid to go to film school, more or less. So when the project was over, he was like, what are you doing after this movie's over? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll probably go shoot another indie movie or finish editing the one. He said, no. You want to work on another one with me, with Hancock? And move to LA with the whole team? I'm like, yeah, of course. So it just kept getting better and better. So, but it does, every good thing ends. So after about 2.5 years, I noticed that my ambitions weren't their ambitions. Like, Will is his own entity. He's like, there's no room for 2 kings in a castle. Like, you either you're gonna do this forever or you're gonna find out how to jump out the nest and fly on your own. So fate stepped in. We were about to boot up for a movie called 7 Pounds, but a writer's strike happened. And if you know anything about a writer's strike, nothing moves in Hollywood without writers. So you're not allowed to work. So long story short, again, Hollywood shut down for about 4 months, and that means my bank account was shutting down for about 4 months. So me and my wife decided to come back to Philly because your money will last longer in Philadelphia than it does in LA. Just point blank, period. So we came back and end up having a son, Josh, sitting over there. So we got back to family life. We just got back to kind of like family life and started to just get our minds wrapped around what's good. And then that's when Charlie showed up on my doorstep with this braided, tall, skinny kid named Meek Mill. Okay. And then he says, I think we should work with this kid. And then that's when the street started. That's when we started that whole back to Philly movement again.
Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Meek Mill. So we have a clip of Meek Mill.
Hey.
And you made a movie, and you did shoot a documentary as well? Or?
We shot Meek's first documentary called Mr. Philadelphia that Rick Ross saw and said, yeah, this kid is special. So, yeah, wow, it was cool.
And then Streets?
Yep, Streets, that's the name.
Was originally going to be?
Streets was originally going to be a hour-long drama like The Wire, based in Philadelphia. But I told Charlie, I was like, listen, if we shoot a pilot episode that doesn't get picked up, we have a pilot episode, that's all we got. So, and we can't burn them and make DVDs or nothing. So I think the smartest thing to do is just stick to the independent film game and just make it an independent movie. And at least if it doesn't ever get picked up, we can sell it at Wawa or something, you know? Get your money back.
Well, you know, it actually was available like at Wawa.
Exactly.
The night after the premiere, I saw
Yes.
a brother at Wawa. One of the most bootleg.
Oh my God!
projects
Yes,
in
that
the
movie
world.
went triple platinum on bootleg, but nonetheless.
Put a lot of bootleggers' kids through school.
But what it did do is gave me a presence at BET, because when BET saw it, they licensed it, and for a year it was the #1 independent movie on BET's network in history. Right. So it jumped me off, and
And you know this. What was the budget on that?
That was $75,000. Yeah,
75?
75. But man, once BET got it in the commercials and it just became a machine for a little while.
So you're still getting paid off it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still getting paid. Okay. Yeah, but the best thing it did was I can still call Stephen Hill to this day and pitch an idea to him, and he'll listen to it. You know, so it started great relationships without being associated with Will, and all that. And the best thing it did was Queen Latifah saw it and was like, "Get that guy a phone call." Yeah.
Okay. Well, for those who haven't seen, let's take a look at a little scene of Meek Mill performing in Streets.
See those guys in the corner? Don't look too hard. They're from up north. All they do is come to clubs and plot on niggas who look like they getting cash and kidnap and rob them. Really? Girl. You know Lou Williams, right? No. Point guard for the Sixers? Never heard of him. He just signed a big contract. I don't know him, too. Play with him at your own risk. But I wouldn't advise it. Not to say it isn't good, though.
Oh, you good?
That's Meek. Probably heard his music before, right? I doubt it. Well, he might rap, but they run Southwest Street. Run it how? However they want to. But you see Meek, he's off limits. Why? That's my dude.
Thinking what I'm thinking? That can't be him, dog. You know what? We gonna fucking find out.
I remember recording that song over at Batcave Studio. It was fun.
Okay. Yeah, so you're working Meek Mill, still unknown to a certain extent. He was with Rick Ross.
No. I think he got with Rick maybe 2 weeks after. No. I'm fibbing. He got with Rick while we were editing this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was like the king of the Philly mixtapes.
Yeah, then the movie came out the same month his first album dropped.
Okay.
Dream Chasers, yeah.
So, all right, what's the secret to your success? Is it how hard do you work? Are you constantly thinking about film all day long?
Yeah, I'm a bit obsessive, a bit. Okay. It gets in the way sometimes.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. Persistence. I have my purpose. It's like I know what my purpose is, and I'm not doing anything else. It's just this. This is it. This is the A plan, the B plan, and the C plan.
Mm-hmm. So, have there been from a distance? It seems like it's just been one door opens after next? Have there been slow?
It seems that easy, doesn't it? Though?
I want you to clarify for the folks.
Well, no, there's, you know, it's funny because it's like a statement on Instagram. You only show what you want them to see, but it's like the tip of the iceberg. You only see the top, but the rest at the bottom is just so vast. And but it's part of the territory. It's yin and yang. You know, you can't enjoy the fruits without the sour. It's just a package deal.
So what's, in terms of you're making films, but you're also learning as you're making them?
Yeah, because I never went to film school. It's just always been a constant thing where it's like, you know, you just, whatever you learned on the last one, you bring it to the next one.
So what do you see as your strength? Like what's your A? Like LeBron has a certain skill he brings to every game.
Watching the devil in the details, because that's where the truth lies at, in the details. You know, if you ever seen a Monet at the Philadelphia Art Museum, if you step back, it's like you see one thing, but when you get really close, you can see where the millions are at in it. You know, it's the details. I think I pay attention to the details.
So, but a lot of times you're like, I think Streets came together really fast, right? Like,
Streets came about because we couldn't find financing for Brotherly Love as fast as we wanted to. When I say we, meaning me and Charlie were shopping it for years. So it was like, okay, we're gonna have to make a statement and make one fast, because we know what we can do. It's just like no one's gonna buy into it until they see something of substance. So it like pushed us, like not getting it. I got a stack of envelopes this big from No's. So, and it's a statement that says you got to get 1,000 no's to get one yes. So we had to hurry up and get our no's out the way, you know. And we got them out the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, but once you greenlight yourself and you start shooting, I mean, these are 75,000 is nothing. And it looks that good. Commercial.
Well, that's the thing. Talking to Shakim Compare and Queen Latifah, they said the reason why we wanted to do business with you guys because you make movies for nothing that looks like the ones we're making. So it's the value was in, my value came in, I could make something out of nothing.
So I mean, what are the skills like working with actors? I mean, I guess it's not really until Brotherly Love that you really have like professional actors. Yeah. So like your previous movie After Autumn and this one, you're working with non-professionals. Like what is your, how do you work with actors generally?
Well, 90% of directing is casting. If you cast right, you got a good movie on your hands. So once you cast right, the only thing that they need after that is encouragement. You know, just keep pushing them further and further and further until, you know, they're like, yeah, that's the character right there. Okay. It's just encouragement after that.
So you sit in on every audition process and.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did we jump ahead? Was After Autumn before Streets or?
No, After Autumn came. Yeah, before Streets, after Money, Power, Respect.
Okay.
It was what happened was, so the entertainment has a funny thing. It's like playing poker or going to Las Vegas. The first thing you do, you're gonna get luck on it, and it sucks you in. So the first movie, it was like quick. We did Money, Power, Respect. Jeff Flanagan bought the movie straight to DVD, Blockbuster, boom. I was like, oh, this is easy. Let me do another one. Not so. So the second one was my I want to call it my sophomore curse. Okay. Jumped into it, ambitious, and everything that I was supposed to learn on the first one in the second one, I learned on the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, okay, the film guides were like, you're gonna learn on this one. Okay. So everything, it was, I should have called the movie Murphy's Law, because everything that could have went wrong on that movie went wrong on that movie. Wow. But it made me stronger, because it's like going to the gym. You can't develop muscle without lifting heavy weight. So that movie gave me more experience than the first one.
So what happened that was so hard?
Ooh, you want the long version or the short version?
Well, I mean, you know, people make it seem like it's not, like, you know, you paid your dues.
Yeah.
You confess.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jesus. Well, all right. So after Autumn started, it started because I was living in LA at the time on my best friend's couch, one of my best friend's couches, and I was shopping the movie, and I brought $800 to LA, and I said, I'm going to sell this movie no matter what. So that's when all the no's started coming. It was like, no.
You're skipping some stuff. When you shot it, there were some problems.
But no. Let me.
Oh, you're going back?
I'm talking about, I was out there, the inception of the idea of the movie.
Oh, the conception. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rewind.
So, went out LA, long story short, I slept on the couch, and my friend didn't have cable, so I listened to a lot of music. So I remember the song California Dreamin', the Dana Owens remake of it, came on, and I was like, wow, what a pretty song. And Dana Owens is Queen Latifah's real name. So her song, California Dreamin', and I was like, that's a movie. So wrote the movie in about 3 months, and while I was writing the movie, we got distribution for Money, Power, Respect,
okay.
yes. So had $25 left to my name, had a buddy pass, flew back to Philadelphia, and I pitched the idea to my wife, and she financed it on her own.
Okay.
Period. Give her a round of applause.
Queen.
Yeah. So it was me and her first venture in business together. So we did the movie, and I think 5 days into the movie, it was going really well. It was going so good. We were ahead of schedule. Everything was on point. And what happened on the 7th day, our camera got stolen and all the footage of the movie. Yes. So I remember being at the location, and I was like, I do not want to call her up and tell her there's no movie. So I had to make the phone call. It's just one of those things.
So the streets weren't that bad. They couldn't wait for you to
They
finish it.
couldn't wait for me to.
get
At
it
least
out
let
there.
me edit the movie. Yeah. So, geez. So what happened was we went back home, and my entire team, we powwowed and was like, okay, do we want to quit or do we move forward? And what does it mean by moving forward? Moving forward means we have to find the money to replace the footage. We have to reschedule and shoot the scenes again. So again, she said, here you go. Here's the other money. And she saved the day again. So that was crazy. So we got back started, and it just it picked up. We finished the movie, but the biggest thing after that was shopping the movie. It was like something changed in the climate of movies at the time. Blockbuster was on its way out. Different distribution channels were changing. Certain companies were folding, and it just took a while for the independent film market to get back up and running. And the good thing about it is we got accepted to ABFF, and we were nominated for 6 awards for the movie. So that ended up, that movie actually gave me a real voice in Hollywood. Like Money, Power, Respect gave me a voice in the streets as this Philadelphia, underground filmmaker, guerrilla filmmaker. But After Autumn introduced me to the real players in Hollywood. Like, okay, this guy can really tell a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who haven't seen it, it's actually on video under 2 titles now. But
Yeah, it's on. It's in Redbox, and it's on Amazon.com. After Autumn.
Little Zane. I just
Little
wanna,
Zane, Sunday Carter. Yeah.
We'll not show the clip so we can get to Brotherly Love.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a great story. It's a
Yeah, I
little
love
soft. It's a little softer though.
Yeah, I had a lot of critics say,
not as
what's wrong with
gangbanging."
you? What is this relationship stuff, But nah, I pride myself on thinking that I know something about relationships, so I write about that from time
Well,
to time.
it's good. I mean, if you look, I watched all your films together in a string, and they're like, urban romances and urban dramas, and they're all based in Philly so far.
So far.
Just like good literature. I know you worked with a guy who writes books also, the guy who co-wrote Streets with you.
Yeah, Dean passed away. Dean, yep, my co-writer from Streets, he's a novelist, and one of the smartest guys I know, extremely intelligent, and he passed away from heart failure like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I noticed in Money, Power, Respect, you have a copy of his book in the background.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay. Interesting. So I want to leave time for questions, of course, and there'll be a microphone walking around. But let's get into brotherly love now. All right. So we went from 10,000. All right. We didn't. After Autumn was how much?
We went from 10 was Money, Power, Respect. We spent, I think, 45 on After Autumn. Streets was 75, 70, and then we met Queen Latifah after that. Yeah.
Right. And there's a guy, Dove Simmons. He has a book and basically says, like, everybody's dream is to direct a $100 million movie. How do you get to direct a $100 million movie? You make a movie for $10,000, and then you work your way up. You increase your budget. So, money, brotherly love, much more money.
Yeah, it was 1.9 they gave me for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Met the Queen through Jacob York, who is, at the time, he was Little Kim's manager when he first coming up in the game. Mace, that whole Bad Boys movement, he was running with Puff and all those guys. Jacob read the script, gave it to Flavor Unit, and I'm telling you, man, it went from us doing Streets, promoting that, to maybe 3 months later with escrow with $1.5 million in it, saying we love the script, knock it out, and that's what we did. We came back here and we cast it, and we hired Kim Harding, amazing casting director, and we got started.
Wow. So how many years from the time you wrote the first draft?
First draft. It was about exactly 10 years, almost exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 years exactly.
So you got to plant those seeds now.
Yeah. They say success takes either 10,000 hours or 10 years. And I think I had both.
And got national theatrical distribution.
Yep.
How many screens?
I think we opened up initially to 250 screens, and then they extended it to 350.
Right, and a lot of people here saw it locally. Come on, y'all didn't see it in the bootleg.
Yeah.
How many saw it on video?
Yeah, there you go. All right, just making sure ain't nobody bootlegging it.
I'm just checking.
Just checking.
Everybody's like, brotherly love. See you, Sharon. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming out, Sharon.
Thanks for having let's have the event. Okay, so do you want to see us? Let's show some of your directing of. I have two scenes. I have the bathroom scene from the beginning and the scene in the library. What should we show?
Set them up with the bathroom first. Yeah.
Well, we got time for one. Bathroom scene?
No. Library scene.
Library scene.
Yeah.
Clip 2. Brotherly Love, clip 2.
What you reading, sis?
You wouldn't know it.
Well, try me.
Makes me want to holler.
By Nathan McCall. You spending all this time in the library, and you still judging the book by its cover.
I just thought...
What, that I was lost? No. I've read it. And a few others like it. You June's sister, right?
Yeah, that's me.
And you and Sergio, y'all are twins.
Okay. You did your homework.
You know, I be seeing you at the games doing your cheerleading thing. I always thought you was cute. But I'll never see you with no dudes. You got a boyfriend?
These little boys right here? Yeah, right. Plus, they all act like they scared of June.
Shh. Don't you live somewhere down the bottom?
Yeah, and?
Not like that, but I drive that way when I go home. I'd love to give you a ride. I mean, that's if you want. I'm literally parked right in front of the school. So maybe we can meet there? And finish talking? Yeah? No? I'll see you later.
mics? Do we have somebody? Okay, you got it? Okay, so raise your hand if you have a question, but right behind you. But before we jump in, let me just, any thoughts? What was the experience like? $1.9 million, somebody threw a $1.9 million in your bank account.
Pressure.
You know, Queen Latifah, you know, she can track you down. She could probably beat you up too.
Yeah, the pressure. That's what it was. It's like, you know, you want an opportunity to do another one. So you have to make good on the first one. And, you know, say whatever you want. Your first time playing with damn near $2 million is not a game. It's like, it went from being a hobby to a degree to like, oh, I'm really in an industry. I'm part of the industry now. So, you know, had to get in that zone. Yeah, had to get in the zone. And it was not easy. I guess nothing is easy, but it's just, it was not easy. It was fun, but it was not easy.
Well, everybody who's going to want to test you too. You're working with actors.
Yeah. Macy Gray. Jeez, oh God. I remember real quick. First time an actor ever really challenged me. I was like, okay, so this is the scene. You're gonna sit here in the dining room, and Keke's gonna walk in. You're gonna have dialogue, and she's like, I don't wanna. My character wouldn't sit in the dining room. And I said, well, that's where the camera is. It's gonna be a camera in here. She said, no, my character wouldn't sit in the dining room. So I said, okay, I'll be back. I went in the bathroom. I said, okay, what's the answer to this? So I remember a book Will gave me. It's called A Sense of Direction. And it said you have to allow the actor to give you the answer, and then, but you have to, it's kind of like you have to set them up for the right answer that you want them to tell you. Yeah. So I said, well, can you do this? Well, I came back downstairs and I said, Macy. Oh, she didn't want me to call her Macy. She wanted me to call her Sasha. That's what it was. We couldn't call her Macy Gray.
And you saw all this when you were doing the auditions, right?
No, not at all. So
this is Sasha?
I had to make note to myself not to call her Macy every day. So getting back, I went downstairs and I said, okay, so first of all, where would the character be? She said the character would be in the living room. So I had to kind of explain it to her, and I said, but if you were to sit in the dining room, why would you be in the dining room? She said, if there happened to be some mail in the dining room, I might want to. I said, can we get mail in the dining room? And I learned a lesson how to deal with certain actors on that day.
And they want to test you because ultimately
they have to trust you.
They have to trust you.
And if you can't prove that you know better than them, there's no way.
Right. So that's when your acting skills came in?
To a degree, yeah.
I mean, in terms of like being able to use language, like just for folks who don't know, like there's certain ways to talk to
jargon,
actors.
yeah. There's a certain actor jargon that you have to know to communicate with them. If you don't know it, you're a suit to them. You know what I mean? You're part of them. And it's in this arena, it's them versus us always. It's the actor, it's the water versus the oil. It's art versus commerce. So they want to know, are you art or are you commerce?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a different type of role for Keke.
Yeah. She's used to like Nickelodeon and Disney and stuff. That's why she chose it. Funny story about Keke. In order for them to release the funds, they had to get a marketable actor to sign on to the movie. It was contingent upon that. So Sharon, can I throw this down?
Yeah, definitely.
Shelby Stone, head of production at Flavor Unit on a Sony lot, said, okay, Jamal, I'm going to send this to some people that I know to see if we can't get the ball rolling. So she sent it to Keke, and we were like, if Keke does it, we're going to get a movie made. So over the weekend, I was like, all right, she's going to call back by Monday, and we're going to get a verdict. So I'm waiting on the verdict, and I stress. I'm just one of those kind of people. This is what you do. I go in my man cave, and I won't come up for like 2 days. So I'm waiting on the verdict. So I got an email from Sharon, and it says, Jamal, I think we got a lead, but I want you to read something. Keke ended up writing a 2-page letter about what she thought about the subject matter, the character, and why this movie should be made. So, and I have it framed, the letter, and that letter got the movie made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what What was your moment of gaining her trust? Did it happen in rehearsal or on the set? Or
No, I think me and Keke clicked in pre-production because she was such a fan of the material that she says, if you wrote this, I'm just gonna fall into your hands because if you wrote that, I'm with it, whatever you say. So she was easy. She just got it from the script.
Okay, but that Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha she was vicious.
All right, we'll take some questions now.
Brother Jamal, my
Hey.
name's Tony IMAX from the Film Freaks. We big fans.
Thank you,
First
brother.
off, I didn't know you did the New Jack City movie. Classic.
yeah.
That's a,
Thank
I didn't
you.
know that
Thank
was
you.
you. That's a classic.
Thank you.
2 questions. First off, this is a selfish question for me. When's Brotherly Love coming out on DVD? Because I've been waiting. I need that.
Well, the holiday season is Netflix first and then Blu-ray.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
even
yeah.
better, brother.
Yep.
Second thing, I seen it twice in the movies. I went
Thank
that
you.
first weekend because I wanted to, I know how the box office
yeah,
goes.
exactly,
So
yeah.
but my number one question is,
Yeah.
and first off, I want to give you props because it was like a love letter to the city of Philly. You made
That
Philly
was the
look
intention,
I
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
That's why I love. That's why I seen it twice.
Yeah,
Because
thanks.
you made West Philly look beautiful.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? From the shots of Overbrook
Yeah.
to that shot on 51st Market.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you really.
Hey, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? My number one thing is, was it hard? Because I hear it's hard to shoot movies in Philly. So was it like hard to get cooperation and everything like that?
No. Well, let me tell you. First of all, I had Charlie, so it was like, yeah. Charlie's big brother, Philadelphia mayor. So no, it was inviting because I think by the time I got Brotherly Love, I've already built with the film office. They knew me. They've gave me permits for 7 years. I'm really good friends with Andy Greenblatt from the Film Society. So the support was there, and it was the hardest thing was that the people that were coming from LA are so used to a pampered process. And when we came here, we like landed in Vietnam. You know, you got junkies running around, car accidents. It's like, whoa, wait. So it was just trying to make sure my LA people weren't scared while they were here. It was like, nah, relax, we got this. You know.
All right, hands up, anyone over here? All right, she's coming. She's coming. But you know, have anybody else so that we can be prepared? Okay, okay. So we got bang, 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 and then we'll go over on this side. Where's the guy from Virginia, by the way?
Somebody from Virginia.
All right, he came all the way from. He's your Instagram fan. What's your name again?
Okay.
Yeah,
Solid.
he's like, I have to be here. I'm driving all the way from VA. So
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Hey, how you doing, Jamal?
Hey, what's up, Ronnie? All right, I know who you are. Yeah, Instagram. Hey, Jamal, man, come on, man. Just give me. I act, I write, I dance. I know who you are, brother.
Long as you know, that means it's working. All right.
Persistence.
That's long
That's
as
right.
you know. But just some advice, just some young actors
Yeah.
like myself. What would you say to us that's trying to break into the industry?
Don't do it for fame. It's the wrong choice. Do it for love, because there's just no fame at first. There's no money at first. I learned that eventually, because I remember when I was about to give up, and it's just part of the game. Everybody comes to the point where they're ready to give up. And I said, okay, what am I doing this for? If I'm doing it for anything other than the pure sake of art, then I can understand quitting. But I said, okay, so this is what it is. It's going to have to be art. It's going to have to be an artist's choice. And just don't get caught up inside of your 15 minutes. Make it longer than 15 minutes, you know?
Thank you.
Hey, Jamal. I'm Tyrone Blasingame.
I know you as well, Tyrone.
First of all, I'd like to say, you know, congratulations on all your movies, especially Brotherly Love.
Yep.
It had a man in there that kind of looked like myself.
Yeah, there was a guy in the basketball scene. Yeah,
right. Man, I appreciate all that. That was dope. But in one of your previous interviews, I've watched the interviews, and you said that you fell in love with the process. You started off as an actor, but then you fell in love with the process. Now, what movie or what happened when you finally decided that you fell in love with the process instead of the acting part?
Oh, yeah. I watched the making of, the director's commentary of Boogie Nights, P.T. Anderson. And PT is so cool. I was like, man, I want to be like that guy. Forget acting. He put the entire thing together. And one thing about acting is you're constantly in pursuit of the perfect character, and you have no control of when it comes. And I was like, no, I know what I want to write. I know what I'm not seeing on TV, and I want to perpetuate the stuff I like. So I said, I want to jump into controlling the process more so than being a fixture of the process.
Thank you. And I'm on that same type time, but thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out here. So what do you say to the critics that say, all right, these are hood flicks, we get enough of that on the streets, we don't need to see this in movies as an artist?
As long as black people are dying that look like me, I think it's a popular subject.
And you know, in the comments that I see, the people that review the videos on Amazon, uniform 4-star ratings.
If people talked about Jesus, they don't talk about me.
Okay. Well, would you veer away from this genre?
Not for that reason. I think where I'm at in my career, I think I've had enough. Like I said in the beginning, again, you write what you know. I know more now. I'm not 25 anymore. I've been a few places, and there's some other subjects that pique my interest that I want to talk about. So yeah, I think I've grown out of that genre to a degree.
And Deuces, I guess, is talk a little bit about Deuces before we move to.
Yeah, despite what you may think, because Larenz is like old dog in this again, but he's not. He's coupled with old dog with Love Jones. This is a love story at its core. Larenz, Tate, and Meagan Good fall in love, and they figure out that they're not supposed to be falling in love, and it's like, how do you move forward once you find that out? And it's a love story. It's a new themed LA love story, in my opinion.
Okay, and it's in post-production now?
Yeah, it's funny. I gotta leave DC, and I'm going back to Philly for the holidays, and after the holidays, I'm going back to finish editing that and submit a trailer for the distributors and everything. So
okay, yeah. But it's got distribution already?
Yeah, I have a deal with Sony / Flavor Unit, and everything that I do for them has a pipeline of theatrical, Netflix, Blu-ray. Yeah. Okay.
And Man in 3B support Flavor Unit. They got a new movie out this week.
Yeah. Shout out to Trey Haley. Yep.
Okay. Right, you didn't have your hand up, but go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. My question is, between writing and directing, what do you enjoy the most? Why?
It's like saying, which one of your kids do you like the most? Yeah, I love them both. I don't know. I tell you this, I think writing is harder. It's hard. I had a meeting with Screen Gems yesterday because I submitted a script, and they shred it. It's like, okay, it's like, because as a writer, you're constantly creating, like for instance, all right, as a director, you just have to have, you got the blueprint already. You have a blueprint and you just follow the blueprint. You have to create the blueprint when you write. So it's like you gotta create characters, dialogue, settings, and it has to hit some heartstrings at the same time. So it's just a harder process. But I think I like directing better just because what happens as a director, and it's weird because you have to be multi-talented. You have to know acting. You don't have to know acting as a writer. You have to know music because you have to score your movie. You have to do the soundtrack. And it takes a lot of, not that I have a lot of it, but it takes a lot of talent to do directing because everybody looks to you as the orchestrator of the world. And you have to know a lot about a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, so are there any key books that you would recommend?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the best book that I read on directing is A Sense of Direction. and visual story. Those are the 2 books that stick out in my career. Yeah.
And in screenwriting?
In screenwriting, there's 2 that I would recommend. One is Screenwriting by Sid Fields, and then, in my opinion, the Bible is Story by Robert McKee.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned Save the Cat once.
Yeah, Save the Cat is awesome. It talks about how before you start writing, you have to know your objective. And what Save the Cat means is if you really think about why you like superheroes, the reason you like superheroes is because they do something of a valiant effort. They do something in the beginning of the movie to say, I like that guy, like to save a cat from a tree or something like that.
Exactly.
And that's the reason why.
Yeah, and story is really good. There's also an audio version of that, which is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Jamal.
Hey.
Yeah, you know me too.
I just cast you in Secrets. Yes.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm
You
playing
did a great job in the audition.
I didn't do it yet. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. But my question is, in the future, with the exception of Philly, how are you going to scout out locations? Anything in mind for future films where you think you might want to?
My next 3 screenplays are set in LA. So it all depends on what content I'm shooting. Like, for instance, I have another one that's coming up that's set in Miami. It's called The Recipe. And it's just whatever the backdrop is supposed to be. You go out there and you find out what you need to find out. It's a new world.
You're not going to use local talent again.
I would love to lose local talent as much as possible, yeah. Diamonds in a rough.
But I mean, as long as, like I had said, not locality, as long as you can get to the area, do you have to be from LA or?
Yeah, well.
That's what I mean by
a lot of times you're handcuffed because, for instance, for bit roles, what I mean by bit roles, if you're just appearing in a scene one time, you're not gonna fly somebody from LA to come to Baton Rouge to do a day job. You hire local actors. Same with the crew. Like when we shot in Philadelphia, it doesn't make monetary sense to bring everybody from LA, put them in hotels, give them rental cars. You hire locally, and it stimulates the economy in that city. It's just the right thing to do.
Hi, my name's Marcia Moore238 on Instagram.
How you doing?
Hi.
You see how she dropped that? She got 5 new followers.
Poet, author, manager, knowledge 215. My question is how you went into becoming your own brand, to break away from your training from Will, things like that. For me, managing Knowledge 215 as a inspirational hip hop artist.
And that's exactly what I did. I broke off from one brand to create my own brand. That's exactly.
So
what I
now that we now publish and produce, make beats, things like that, how do you get to be able to get noticed to get your movies or your soundtrack, get into soundtracks for movies and films?
How do I or you, just general
how would
people?
Someone, general people.
There is no one answer to that, but I answer that the same way every time out. It's you have to create your own noise. It's just as simple as that. You got to create your own noise. I was telling somebody, they were like, "Man, how come y'all made Meek famous? How come y'all picked Meek?" I didn't. Meek made himself famous. He's in control, and everybody is. You control your own destiny. No matter how much you may think someone's gonna knock on your door, and no, man, they don't do that. They don't do much knocking on doors. You have to you have to do that. You have to get out there and do it the same way everybody else does. Make some noise.
Okay, right here, and then Tiffany,
It's
and maybe 2 more after that, because we have to be done by 8.
Okay. It's funny you say that to make noise. I'm getting ready to make some noise. Been 28 years, been managing a lot of NFL players, different genres. Now, most of my clients are heading towards the big screen. So now I'm a student of trying to learn how to path them into those things. I've learned already that the capital we have is relationships. And I noticed you mentioned distribution, because sometimes when you develop a film, you have to get it distributed, and that is a headache.
Well, what happens is, like Charlie says, some of the best music ever made is on somebody's and so only the engineer heard it. So without distribution, you're going to play it at your family reunion.
Right. So
you got to get it to the masses.
Yeah. So my second question to that is, we definitely would like to try and at least meet with you to get some idea. I would love to do that because I brought 2 clients, one that played in the movie with Jeremiah Trotter, and then Raheem Brock that retired from.
Hey, Brock, I seen you in you were shopping. Where was we at? Target 2 weeks ago. You and your family. I started to say what's up, but you were busy, man. Yeah. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, Tiffany. Yeah.
Hey, good evening. I'm Tiffany Bacon from Radio 1.
Hey, Tiffany Bacon.
How are you?
Good.
So my question to you is, what advice would you give to the person who is stuck between deciding to take the path that you did, just go out there independently, and to go to school full-time, graduate or undergraduate?
It's an individual case study. There's no right reason or there's no wrong way to do it. The only reason I didn't go to film school is because, for one, I think the biggest reason is because you don't have to. In order to be a doctor, you have to go to school in the United States. In order to be a dentist, you have to go to school. I didn't have to. The film industry and the entertainment industry is like one of the only industries left where you can become extremely successful off of pure talent and pure art and ambition. And I didn't, at the time, it's me personally, I didn't want to be capitalized upon by the collegiate institutions. I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to just adventure it out, and it just worked for me. But if anyone wants to take that route in terms of going to school, it's a good route for some people. It just wasn't my route. I know a lot of people that I make movies with.
Do you think
that
the
they went to
industry's
school.
changed any? Like, 10 years ago, you had a DVD market. You could make a movie for $10,000 and flip it on DVDs just locally and make your money back and make more movies. I mean, if Charlie hadn't interceded, I would imagine that would be the path that you would have.
Well, just take the business out of it.
Okay.
Take the business out of it and use it. If your question, I can answer it properly. In order to learn something, yes, college has a platform where you can go there and learn how to become the best such and such. So purely from a learning standpoint, it's a good place. It just wasn't my place. It's still cool, though.
Okay, we can take 2 more, and then we'll do a photo, and then Can you hang for a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. Before you jump in, I have to thank Bill and Carol Lee and Daryl for shooting and.
For sure, man. I loved it. It was awesome.
And the staff here has been amazing.
That's it.
You have a question? Hey, what's up, Jamal?
How you doing?
I'm Mark Johnson.
How you doing, Mark?
I'm good.
Okay.
So my question is, what continues to drive your inspiration with the things that you write? And we always talk about, the good times, but some of them's down times that you had. What was your process of getting through that? I know we always say don't quit, but what was your mindset in those times?
I can answer it a few different ways. I guess I'll answer the why don't I quit, because I have a responsibility to make movies with substance that I don't see a lot of. And not to say that I'm the bar, but it's just I want to hear some things that I'm willing to do this forever in a day for free if I have to get the message out there. Yeah, so there's some messages that I want to put out there into the world. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll let her call it because but that was fast though. So get 2 more in.
Okay.
On this side though.
Hi, Jamal. I'm Nabila Neely.
How you doing?
How are you?
Doing well.
I just had a quick question. I know before you said that this is like your A, B, C, and D. What is your advice for somebody who cannot financially do that right now because she has a family? Okay, well, better question. How did you deal with juggling your family at first? You going to LA and not being able to be with your kids and your wife, and just branching out without having it.
It's you just can't get around the sacrifice. That is that. If it takes 5 years to do something away from your family, you're gonna miss your family for 5 years. This is no. You have to pick. You have to ask yourself, day one, do I want to? Because my mom was the same way. She chose the family. We had a long talk about this. I was like, okay, I'm glad you chose the family because you raised us awesomely, but I don't think I would have been mad if she chose to continue being a singer. But your family has to, either they're gonna love it or they're not. I don't know, because I'm not compromising what my gift is. I gotta give this thing out. I gotta give it away. I have to do this. So I've had conversations with my family, and we're still a family to this. So they didn't go nowhere. So it's working. It's working for me. But advice to you, I don't know. You got to ask yourself, which one do you want the most? Do you want the Huxtables, or do you want your art to be displayed across the world? It's a choice you have to make.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the last question we're leaving.
My name's Tatiana Bacchus, and I have a quick question for you. A little bit different. Been hustling and grinding for a little while, and have opened a few doors, and find fear, sometimes holding me back from really going through and sharing the gift that I've worked to plant these seeds for. How do you? I heard you say earlier that you jumped off a cliff.
Yeah.
When you run up against those, I'm not sure. Everything is saying, go ahead.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Here's the deal. This is a faith-based industry. It's not in terms of it being a religious industry. It's faith. Everything is faith. If you want to be a singer, dancer, writer, whatever, pop locker, whatever you want to do, there's no guarantees in this business. The only thing that's going to guarantee you is I hope you're making yourself happy while you do this, because it's in your hands. There's no guarantees, and it's a cliff jump. I use that a lot because that's what you're doing. There's no safety net. If there was a safety net, everybody would try this game, but everybody doesn't try it because they know once you get to a certain point, you're gonna get really tested. It's gonna really come to a point where you're like, all right. Like for I'll give you an example. I remember when the first time I went to LA, it was like when the writer's strike hit. Like you're going to hit some times where it's like, man, no one cares. No, the billion people in LA. They say that when you go to LA, when you fly in LAX, the reason why they put the ingoing on the upstairs and outgoing on the downstairs is because they don't want the 60,000 people flying in every day to see the 60,000 people flying out every day. So it's real. Like people are on this chase, and you have to it's got to be something you want to do, and you're not going to falter. It's a you thing. It's a you thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of sitting on couches. It's a lot of working.
It's a lot of sleeping on couches.
When you're making sleeping on couches, when you're making movies for $75,000,
there's a misconception too about making it. Like there's no such thing as making it. Let me make that clear. Okay. Because I had the chance to work with Lady Gaga for a while, right? I seen her rise and fall, because Hollywood, it's fickle. Mm-hmm. Here today, gone tomorrow, and it's just that's how it goes. You will be hot. Will Smith, the biggest black star on the planet, has a possibility of not being hot anymore. Mm-hmm. And once that happens, did you still make it? Did you still make it? It's a false idea.
Well, with that in mind, I'll leave it to final thoughts. And I asked you 6 years ago, where you expect to be in 5 years.
Wow, you did.
So I will ask you, and you should look at that interview. It's kind of interesting.
Crazy, yeah.
So what's
everything
your
in that interview came to pass?
Yeah, I know. You wiped the whole list clean. You got nothing left.
That's crazy.
It's over.
Yeah,
this
man.
is this. Except you didn't mention this. So.
Okay. So.
You didn't mention this. You just
what?
The fact that we'd be here and
yeah,
you'd have you got thousands of Instagram followers and
that's kinda
making
cool.
movies in Hollywood.
No, that's
and
cool.
Stuff. So what's
so
your
the
tenure?
trajectory right now is I got a screenplay that I've been writing for 8 years. It's called Starstruck. It's a microcosm of what Hollywood, the misconception of it is and what it really is, and it's about a young guy who is ambitious as ever, and he makes it instantly, like from the rip, from the jump of the movie, he makes it. But does he make it? Like it's like your idea of making it is just warped. But yeah, Starstruck is my next film. I have another one I wrote called The Recipe, based in Miami. It's about credit card and identity theft, and I have another one. So this is what I definitely want to do. So I'm working with, Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver just did a movie called The Perfect Guy.
Mm-hmm. Perfect Guy, and he also did 82.
Yeah.
He's another Philly guy.
Yeah. So we started a company together, me and Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my new partner right now. So he's coming here to do a hour-long drama for Netflix, based in Philadelphia. It's called Black and Blue. And Tommy's also producing my Starstruck script, but me and him really want to do Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff's story. That's what we're trying to get done.
Well, I'm sure for you to mention it means that it's moving along.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Kenny's dope. He's invited me to hang out with him a couple times.
So, but that's your pitch. That's like you're pitching me ideas. You know,
right?
That's already written. What's your 5 years from now when we look at this?
You know what? I think as of late, talking to like Devon Franklin, Devon?
Mm-hmm.
Devon's head of production at Columbia Pictures, talking to Devon, talking to James Lasseter at Overbrook. I think once I finish a slate of movies, I think I want to jump into the executive chair and start finding the movies and help distribute them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Newly minted member of the DGA.
Oh yeah, so just got inducted into the Directors Guild of America this year. That was cool.
So maybe we'll see your name on some hour-long dramas.
That's what I would want to have. But the thing is, I don't know television as well as I know feature films. Okay. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board because I don't want to jump in. I really want to know how to do it from the ground. So I gotta really learn hour-long drama.
Well,
because it's a different muscle.
They'll coach you through it. I'm sure it's not.
I don't want to cheat. I want to get it. You know what I mean? I want to get it. Really.
Okay. All right. Well, we are out of time.
Yeah. It was fun.
But stick around. You can stick around a little bit. I have a gift for you. Oh, cool. I'm not gonna run over and get it, but it's a Reelblack T-shirt. And look, you can be just like Jamal Hill. At our next event, you can buy a Reelblack T-shirt and help support the cause. And there's a Reelblack Black Film Now mug. So.
But thanks for having me, you guys. Thanks for coming out. That absolutely was fun.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. Hope it's been real.
That was an evening with Jamal Hill from the Filmmakers at the Prince event series. Now, here's more with Jamal Hill from the Reelblack Vault. Thanks for watching.
Patience. Without patience as an independent filmmaker, you might as well stop before you start. Because, like I said, with my first film, Money, Power, Respect, it kind of threw me for a loop because I got lucky. I got distribution about 8 months after shooting the film. And I thought that's just how it goes. And that's not how it goes a lot, 99.9% of the time. I thought that, once I finished this first movie, boom, I got distribution on this one, I shoot another one and get better distribution, but it didn't go like that. But if I didn't have patience, I'm a very patient person. So if I didn't have that one attribute, I think I'd have gave up a long time ago. The new film, After Autumn, in essence, it's about a crush. When you grow up, I think most people, experience a crush in some form or fashion. And this particular story is about a guy who's a little bit green, and he gets hired his first day at a barbershop. And the boss takes him out for lunch. And between the three guys, two of them meet a girl at the restaurant called Autumn. And she falls in lust with his best friend, who also works at the barbershop. So it's like a love triangle going on. And at the end of the day, we'll find out why you can't make anybody love you. Either it is or it isn't.
You got money, man, you can do whatever you want to do. No limits.
It happened by accident. I always liked filmmaking and movies in general, but what happened was I went to community college just to get some higher education. And so at community, I took a course, a creative writing course. And I read a book called Make Me Wanna Holler. And the book inspired me to want to tell stories about me growing up. So I decided to do a movie. And what I did was, the course wasn't necessarily for screenwriting, so what I did was I went to Barnes & Nobles and got all the books I could find on screenwriting. And just studying it. And throughout the course of my studying, I came up with a story that I wanted to tell. And it was called, it ended up being called Money, Power, Respect. So I wrote that story about growing up in Southwest Philly, and it was the rise and fall of a young drug dealer in Philly. Before I shot anything, before I shot New Jack City with the Takedown Company and anything, I was always trying to get with Charlie Mack because I knew if anybody from Philly could help me, it would be him. I remember that clearly. I would see him and he would, so what you got? You got anything? I'm like, nah, I ain't got nothing, but I got a few ideas. Ideas are only good enough when you're already on. So I said, okay, you know what? I just got to take some first steps. I got to shoot some stuff and, and see what happens from there. So I remember I shot the Takedown project. That caught some fire. Everybody was watching it and it was pretty cool, but it wasn't good enough to catapult me into any kind of real position. So maybe 2 years later, I shot the Money, Power, Respect project. It got distribution and it got out there. Somehow, Charlie Mack got the DVD, watched it, and I remember I was cutting hair at the time, and something happened at the barbershop, and I said, you know what? I have to go as a filmmaker full time. It's just no time for being a second-rate filmmaker. I got to go hard. So I quit the shop, and I wasn't making money for about 6 months. My wife was working, and I was on Craigslist. I was just trying to find any kind of production where I could find. So jumping back to Charlie Mack, my phone rings one morning, and I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, hello? And he's like, yeah, is Jamal Hill there? And I'm like, yeah, this is him. I looked at the number. It was a 310 number. And I said, yeah, this is Jamal. Who's this? He was like, this is Charlie Mack. I was wondering, do you have some time to talk? So I'm like, I popped up, like, of course I got time to talk. So we talked for about 20 minutes, and he asked me to meet him somewhere for about a half an hour, just to meet each other in the flesh and get connected. So we met, and from a half hour, we ended up spending like 2 hours talking. We connected like this. And he asked me what I was doing this summer. And I said, well, I'm just trying to get my film out here, maybe do some local promotion and stuff like that. And he's like, hold on a second. So what he did, he made a phone call. He said, oh, was Will there? He's like, yeah, put Will on the phone for me. And I'm like, I know he's not calling Will Smith. So he called Will up and he said, listen, I got this young guy from Philly. I think you should meet. He's pretty cool. You want to get to meet him? So Will was like, yeah, sure, bring him up. So the next day, we drove up to New York and they were shooting the film I Am Legend. And me and Will got to talk, and he said, pretty much, do you want to be a production assistant on the film? So, of course, I said yeah, and that's kind of how it started. We became friends, and the good work relationship started. And after I Am Legend, he asked me that I want to work on Iron Man because he had a couple connections over on Iron Man, and I said sure. And we went to L.A., and I started working on Iron Man with Jon Favreau. And from that, Will started Hancock, which at the time was called Tonight He Comes. I found out that I didn't know anything about filmmaking. You know, granted, yeah, okay, I had a vision and I stuck with it and I had a great crew, but I had no idea that it took that much to make a studio film. It's guerrilla filmmaking and studio filmmaking is like opposite ends of the pole. You know, it's just so different from each other. And it was great. It was just a great experience. I learned at this particular time, I was only Will's assistant, but it allowed me to steal from every department because, you know, I was so-called Will's guy, so they lended me the opportunity to check out all the different departments. And again, the film was 7 months. So it was like I got paid to go to film school. And it was great. Everything I try to do with my films is Philly-based. That's why my company's called Philavision. All my stories are based in Philadelphia. I try to hire crew and cast out of Philadelphia, but sometimes it doesn't really work that way. But I try my best to pull the diamonds out of the rough, so to speak, that are local. Because I believe that there's a lot of local talent here. And there's no sense in fishing in other ponds when you have all that you need right here. It's just that we have a lack of opportunity. My 5-year plan is funny because when I look back on this interview, hopefully it'll come to fruition. Me and Charlie Mack, we're still great friends, and actually what we're doing now is we're co-venturing on 2 projects. One is called Streets. It's a TV pilot show that it's Law and Order meets The Wire, based here in Philly. We're doing that ASAP. We're shooting that in about a month. I have another script I wrote called Brotherly Love, and hopefully that'll be done end of this year, maybe early 2011. There's another picture I wrote called Starstruck. Hopefully I can do that within the next 2 years. I have another screenplay that I wrote called Discovering Zoe with a writing partner of mine. Hopefully we can do that after that. If there's a market for Tyler Perry and Spike Lee, then there should be room and enough story for me. It's cliche, but whatever that thing is that you're scared to do, you're probably scared to do it because you're going to be great at it. So instead of being scared of it, embrace it. And I guarantee you that once you embrace that deep desire that's inside of you, you will be alive for a reason.
I know what you're saying. Some people just don't know a good thing, even if it's sitting right next to them.
Someone said hello, how you doing?
This is Jamal Hill, and you're watching Reelblack.